Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 295. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
Excuse me, I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is April 3rd, 2016, and I think this is about as close as it's going to get to mark our 6 years,
Yay!
our 6 complete years of podcasting. Some days it feels like 6 months, and some days it feels like
An
60
eternity.
years.
Aw, why you gotta make us so old?
Well, I am old. I am an old lady who wants you off her damn lawn right away.
That
Um,
makes me want to camp out on your
I
lawn. That is how our relationship works.
yes.
Leslie's like, you go away, and I'm like, but I'm here.
Mutual
with
antagonation. No, mutual antagonation is not a word.
But it's pretty true.
God, I can't think of the word. Somebody's screaming it at us. Sorry, I can't hear you. Anyway, so this is a knitting show. Clearly one we've been doing for a long time.
And thank you so much. I had so many people at DFW come up to me and say, I've been watching you since the beginning, and I am so sorry. But
yes.
also, you're amazing.
It's very nice to hear.
Everyone who's watched 295 episodes, holy moly. And if you're just finding this,
Thanks
there's
for,
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming by. There's a lot that you can watch if you get very, very, very bored for the next year and a half.
of hours. That's not to say any that other people's are boring. That's not what Laura meant.
No.
She just means we have a lot of hours into this, and so you could theoretically watch all of ours. And get
295
really bored.
hours. That's almost
At least
one a day.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So knitting.
Knitting. Would you like me to go first? Because I have four
Go for it.
things. It's
I
crazy.
barely have two.
It's crazy pants over here. So I cast on a new pair of socks because the Harry Potter House Cup, which I am fairly active in. I haven't been on the boards at all this past month except to post my FOs, but I am in the Slytherin house, and that ended March 31st. So then it became cast on all the things. Especially like a few days before. I know if I'm not going to make it for like another finished project, I just cast on all the things. So the first thing that I cast on are these socks. Those pretty. They're very subtle striping, except for the green. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different colors. And it goes through shades of pink to a dark purple to a green. Really, really pretty. I got so many compliments on them. And basically all I'm doing is knitting around and around and around. These are nomadic knits. I just threw my bag to the floor. So that would be down there. Get the thing out. This is a Fat Squirrel sloth fabric bag. Although Chicken Boots is using this fabric too. So nomadic yarns. I always say nomadic knits and I don't know why. Nomadic yarns in the trusty sock base. And it's the colorway In Bloom. And she does pre-orders for most of her stuff. And she lets you know how long it'll be. Typically around a month. But her stuff comes hand-wound in these super cute balls.
Which saves you having to wind it.
Yes, and she has a ton of different bases. She's got this trusty sock, she's got twisty sock, she's got twisty sport. Those are both 2-ply superwash merinos. She's got Brit sock, which is a BFL base. She's got a sparkle sock. She's got all the things. And she's got Harry Potter colorways, and I put them all in my cart because I want them all, except for Professor Trelawney, who I don't care about. So I want them all, and it's like over $300. So I just look at it and stare at it and go, someday I'll get you, my pretties. But there's some really great, she does great colorways. She does retire some of them seasonally, but this is my first time actually knitting with her stuff. I had been gifted a pair of socks out of her yarn, and they were one of the pairs that is in the suitcase, which is still, suitcase update, my suitcase still has not come home. I'm getting, it's like the teenager that's run away to join the circus. Oh no, what's going on with that? I'm knitting those magic loop method because I like magic loop or 2 circulars for toe up, and I put in waist yarn, which you probably see. That little
Mm-hmm.
dark purple stripe right there. That's waist yarn. I'm gonna do an afterthought heel. Um, just because with toe-up socks, when I was sitting and knitting, I was sitting with fiber optic Kimber a lot and just knitting away because she's so sweet, and the Ross Farm folks, and I could just knit away on those. So those got lots of work. The second thing on my needles is kind of an older work in progress. They are the Hermione's Everyday Socks.
Older. These are 2 weeks old.
Yeah. Um, I'm just doing the pattern at the top to the heel. And then after the heel, I'm just knitting straight stockinette. And I actually like the way this yarn looks in the straight stockinette a little bit better. The yarn is black trillium fibers in the Merlin sock Phantom weight. It's a fingering weight. And this is, oh, I'm sorry, Merlin sock. It's 7525. And this is the Phantom colorway. So, and I got this at Happy Knits in Portland, and it is an exclusive yarn to them. Um, so sock pattern, it's like party in the front, laying on the foot. Um, this is a different heel for me in that it is a heel flap heel. So you put half your stitches on the heel flap and you knit your way down. But the edges of it, can you see? They're garter.
Is that the way the pattern's written?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't
So
think I
it's
even
got
looked
a
at it.
garter edge on both sides, a 3-stitch garter edge. I did not follow the pattern specifically. It has you like knit or purl those stitches depending on what side you're on.
Mm-hmm.
But I slipped the first one on both sides
Yeah.
because I like a slip stitch to pick up from. So only 2 of them are really in garter. The rest was slip stitch, which was interesting because when you slip as if to purl, because you always slip as if to purl unless you're doing a decrease. So I slipped as if to purl, but then when you go into a purl, it looks different than if you're going into a knit. I guess it's the yarn orientation. So I need to pay more attention when I do that on the second one. It's got I have the partridge heel
Mm-hmm.
flap, which you can't see really well with the because it's more of a subtle
Yeah.
yarn. And it was done on the right side, the knit side, not the purl side, but I didn't want to mess with it because I was following the pattern for once. Typically, I slip my stitches on the purl side. This is a flock lock. Jelby sells them. They hold your double pointed needles so they don't come out, and you have to pick up all the stitches because that's happened a couple times. The needles are my favorite double points currently. They are Addy Flip 6. They've got a pointed end on that side and a dull end on that side, and I just think that's super cool. I asked the Webs people, I was like, do you have Addy Flip 6 with you? And they were like, oh, we can't bring everything from, where are they, Massachusetts
Massachusetts, yeah.
to Dallas? And I was like, I don't know why not.
It's a
So I'm gonna,
very big store.
it is. It's a huge store. And I was joking with them. I realized that they did have a huge needle selection, so I was perusing their needles, um, as you do. But they brought Madeline Tosh with them, and they brought more Madeline Tosh with them than the Madeline Tosh shop brought with them, I think.
Nice.
It was funny. And they had all their Valley yarns as well, which
Mm.
is their in-house brand.
Yeah.
So tuck down socks, a little bit done on the foot. I got that stockinette and the gusset is now done. So I got the gusset and the stockinette section done on the plane today on my hour plane ride back. So really happy with that. Can't wait for these to be done. I think April is going to be the month of socks for me because I have these 2 pairs that I'd like to get done. And then I have I do the Desert Vista knit along,
Yeah.
and then someone sent me a skein of yarn, very colorful, the very
Colorful yarnings.
colorful yarnings. There we go. Sorry, I'm going on very little sleep. Because fiber event this week. And she has a brand new base for me to sample knit. And she sent it in house cup colors, which makes me super happy. So this might be the month of 4 pairs of socks. Wouldn't that be fun? That would almost replace what was lost in my suitcase. So those are the first 2 things. But wait, there's more. I took a class this weekend with Savia Harding, and it is the rain shadow scarf. It is in the middle of a row, so you can't see it. It is a huge, she calls it a ram's horn pattern. So it's this huge scarf that's got short rows with inset different colors. Um, Man, I'm sad that I did not go back and maybe I'll get it to that point later and I can show y'all. So it's this huge, you cast on a huge number of stitches and then you do this eyelet beaded thing. I'm showing you the wrong side, not that it really matters. There's beads there. And then you do a short row and you're beading another eyelet section. And then you do a short row with the contrast color. And then you switch your contrast and your main color. So in this one, this section in the green is beaded. And this will be like the main color. And then the other, and you also bind off stitches so it creates like a sawtooth edging. It'll be cool. You're going to have to trust me because that is a horrible description.
I've seen the finished object and it's really cool looking.
So it'll be really, really neat, but it's not there yet. This is what I got done in class. So, well, you had to cast on, knit 2 rows, do the beaded row, knit 5 rows, and then that was the homework for class, which I waited till like 10 p.m. the night before to get started on. Well, I had cast on and done the first 2 rows.
But you left a beaded row for 10 p.m. the night before? Over how many stitches?
330. I got it done.
I never have any doubt that you can get things done.
Hence the sleep deprivation. So the 2 yarns that are used in this, the purple, I don't think this dyer is in existence anymore, and I'm not quite certain how I got this yarn. So maybe you remember. It is, I picked 2 Texas yarns because I was going to Dallas, and I was like, that's pretty cool. Granada yarns from the Citadel colorway, or in the Citadel base, which is 100% superwash merino, so it's perfect for this. It's a 2-ply fingering weight, and it's the very nice colorway. And I just Googled them, and I didn't see a shop for them, so they might not be dyeing anymore, but that's the purple. And then the greenish brownish, this one right here.
Yeah, it's sort of an olivey.
Yeah, it's like an olivey brownish color. That was from a kit that I got from the Loopy U, and it is Madeline-Tosh with their super old labels in their Tosh sock in the Oak Bee colorway, which again is just a superwash merino wool. So I think this will be perfect together. And this is 395 yards. So deep, deep stash. Like so deep, I don't remember how this came into my possession. But this one was dyed in Austin, and Madeline-Tosh is also from Texas. So I have this whole Texas theme going on, which is super cool. I got the beads from the Loop BU. They do sell beads at the Loop BU. They sell them in tubes like this. So the pattern calls for around 300 beads, and I've used around 150 of 2 of these tubes. So that was cool. I'm getting there on that, and that is in my giant fat squirrel with a fancy fox bag and a fat squirrel. It's very exciting. And then, last but not least, this is what Becca got me for my birthday, this fat squirrel bag.
Oh, that's very
From
sweet.
Knitting Pipeline. Isn't that super sweet? It's animals and Fair Isle sweaters. So cute. So that was my birthday present from Miss Becca. I am knitting say the name for me because I always mess it up. Dwayne
Park, yeah.
Dwayne Park triangle. Out of some hand spun.
You made good progress on that.
Yeah, so I'm almost through the first section. And this is the hand spun that I'm using for that section. This is a bat from Joanna Licious Spring. So there's the first part. And if I run out of this, then I'll go straight into the second section. I'll stripe it a little bit more and then just start working with the white. And this white is a breed specific fiber that I spun. It's the sheep that she has. Why can I not remember their names?
Gosh, if you hadn't asked me, I could have told you.
I
Glen
know.
Forest.
Glen Forest. Thank you. This was some Glen Forest roving I got from her. So this is going to be the contrast. Um, so it's going along well. This is a great, great project. And it's so funny. Ross Farms had one in their booth out of their yarn,
Mm-hmm.
out of Longwell Lester, I believe. And I tried to steal one of Amy's sweaters. It's a Laura Nelkin sweater. It
Oh
looks
yeah.
good on me.
Mm-hmm.
And someone else was like, steal the Dunbar Triangle while you're at it. It was so funny. So that is all that I have on the... Only those four things is what I have on the
That's
needles.
it.
That's
Practically
it. Practically
there.
nothing. Yep.
I haven't had a ton of crafting. I've had a lot going on, which I'll be able to tell you guys about soon, but a lot going on in the non-crafting capacity of my life, so I just haven't had as much time as I would like. So I feel like I'm apologizing, and really I'm not, because I don't feel bad, because I don't have time to feel bad, but um, I
Why
guess
do you feel bad for having a personal life?
I know, right? Um, but I did try to get in some work on a couple of things this week. One of them is the Winchester plaid mitts. Gosh, these sticky notes don't stay very sticky.
Do you get the super sticky notes? Because those are the best.
No, these are some I stole from work, so I can't really be picky if they were free. This is the one I finished like a month and a half ago, and I had just finished the ribbing in a couple of rows, and I sort of put it away, and I picked it up and did a repeat and a half, and then I had to put it down because I got bored with it. It's just a real simple plaid pattern
Yeah, it looks
in
great.
Loft, which is a Brooklyn tweed, American made yarn. I think it's Cheviot mostly.
Columbia, maybe.
Is it?
I don't know. But both of those begin with a C. So it
100%
might be a
American
sheep
wool.
that
Let's see.
begins with a C.
Targhee, Columbia.
Targhee. No one was right.
Well, it was Targhee, Columbia.
Okay.
So you were partially right. Grown in Wyoming, spun in New England. Loft is a Jared Flood brand.
Yep. And it's all American. He's based out of Portland, Oregon right now.
Yep. And not much to really say. The pattern is called Winchester Plaid. It's a free pattern by Kathy Lewinsky. I linked it in the show notes. And I'm knitting the largest size. Oh, no, it's only one size. No, it's not. She talks about changing your gauge. I don't know what size I'm knitting. I'm just knitting.
Do you know what gauge you have?
Nope. Whatever size they end up, that's what they'll be.
Awesome.
This is in a bling your string bag. I have lots of her bags from clubs.
Yeah,
And I
she's
use
got
them a
great
lot.
gloves.
Um,
And
the
she's
only-
Canadian, so if the Canadian
Yeah.
dollar exchanges in our favor right now. So
Yeah, poor Canadians right now. It's kind of brutal, honestly. But so aside from that, I've been working on my Nuvum, which is a Martina Bain pattern. There's a pay for pattern. I think it's like $5 or something like that. I'm using some plucky merino silk. This is a discontinued base. Plucky Classics.
oh, you have that yarn thing holder
Yeah,
thing
it's
on
a
the
little
outside.
piece of netting. They sold them at Twisted in Portland,
Yeah.
and this came from Rose Stash, and she must have knit something out of it and then ripped it out or wound it in anticipation of using it.
Yeah.
But when she wound it, it wasn't under tension, so it's really like squishy and
yeah.
loose. Yeah, so even though it's really too big for this, because it's so loose, I put it in here just to try to keep it from catching and raveling. and I'm pulling from the center, which I usually don't on slick yarns because they tend to not entangle, but I'm just trying to take my time with it and be gentle. But yeah, so
Because it collapses in on itself.
yes,
When you
and
pull
so
from the
then
middle.
as you're pulling it, it twists with the yarn beside it and creates knots and tangles, and it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yarn barf.
Yeah. So this is just living in a Tom bin bag, simple
Cute.
bag that I keep, and it's on some needles that are too small for it now, but I'm just
Wow, you've made some progress on that.
So this,
Where's your little marker thing?
it's right here.
Yeah.
So I would guess I started with like 300 stitches, almost 300, and for every other row at this point I'm adding 6 stitches,
Mm-hmm.
and I would guess that I'm
I bet you did like 12
2,
rows.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16,
From
18,
wire.
20, 22. This is just total, I mean. 24, so 30 times 2 is 60, so probably about 360 stitches on the needle right now.
Yeah.
And I made maybe 2 inches of progress, something
Pretty
like
good, though.
that.
Are you going to move up the marker?
I probably will put another marker there, to see if maybe I can do more next week.
There
I
you
have
go.
to find one. I'm sure I've got one somewhere. Yeah, so this is Nuvum, which is Martina Bem. I'm just knitting it as sort of a meditational kind of thing. It's just simple stockinette all the way around and around and around forever. I did finish the skein I was working on, so I'm into my second skein.
Oh, good.
I've got 2 more skeins before I even do worry about the edging. So it's going to take months, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll probably put it down at some point and work on something else. I really need to work on some socks, but I just haven't felt like it. So that's what I've been working on. These are on 3.75 millimeter needles, and I have nothing finished.
I don't have anything finished either, but you've been spinning and I've been spinning, so you go first and then I'll go.
I spun yesterday, just because I couldn't get in the mood to knit anything, but I felt like I needed to do something. So I sat down and spun the second half of an Enchanted Knoll bat. This was not a club bat. In fact, it was a
Really?
bat that I was still in her club, but it was an update she posted on Instagram, and this one color just screamed at me, and I had to buy it. So this is Dune. I spun half of it about a month ago
So pretty.
on my matchless, and then I spun the other half yesterday on the matchless. So it's got a lot of color in it, but it's mostly undertones. With it's like got blue and purple and some orange, but it's all got like a
Really
silver
pretty.
undertone to it. So I thought about trying to apply it before we started, but I wouldn't have.
Made it, and then you wouldn't have been able to show it as
Yeah.
singles. So for next week, perhaps.
Yes, so I've got 4 ounces spun. This was one of my attempting to do 12 in 2016. This was February.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pull out something for March and just do a quick thick spin so that I can get back on track.
Yeah. It's only the beginning of April.
Yeah, I mean, I can do it if I've got the next few months. I've just got a ton going on, so I'm trying not to put too many things in like the must-do column. But
yeah, no, definitely not.
So yeah, that's my crafting this week.
Yeah, that's when you told me you didn't have anything. That's a good amount of crafting, dude.
I feel like because especially with the Nuvum, like it's hard to tell.
Yeah,
you've done
progress.
anything because it's the same thing around and around. But
yeah,
I like knitting it. It's hard to show that I've done anything.
I would agree with that. Spinning for me. Okay, one I have right here, and one I'm gonna have to dig through my DFW bag. I was coarse spinning some wire, so I finished that.
Cool.
So that's wire that's been coarse spun.
It's really pretty. What are you gonna do with it?
Yeah. I'm sending it to a friend actually, who's super crafty. So I used the techniques from Esther Rogers' DVD
The
on
Jazz
Interweave,
Turtle.
Jazz Turtle, and she's got a DVD through Interweave. She also has a class through Craftsy, which I purchased but I haven't watched yet. This is how I store it to keep it contained.
That's a good idea.
So I watched that prior to spinning Christmas lights and kind of got the general concept of spinning wire from that. Um, I went to, you want wire that's on like a paddle, and the only place they sell that in Joann's or around me in general, and the gauge that I needed is in the floral department.
Oh, like,
So I got
yeah.
28 gauge wire from the floral department,
God, I bet that was
and
a pain in the butt to spin.
the worst part about it, well, it's not super nice on your hands because it's
Yeah.
wire. And this is, I can't remember, like 15 yards maybe. It was more than I thought I was gonna get. Um, so it's not super soft on your hands to begin with. And I haven't found a wheel that really likes spinning in my stable of wheels that really enjoys spinning wire. Like they're like, um, so you have to hand wind it on. So you do like 7 inches or 8 inches.
And you have to
Um,
stop.
and then you have to stop and you have to hand wind it on. You have I use one of those claw hair clip things around the paddle, because you want the wire to kind of like hang in between your
To
legs.
create a little tension.
Actually, so that this twist goes right back out. So as you're adding twist, it
Oh.
unspins between your legs.
Hmm.
So that you're not getting kinky wire. So anyway, it was fun. I'm not gonna do it again for a while. Taking a break. I actually that was one battling from. So I placed an order with Hobbledehoy. I got a set of battlings she had in her shop, and she threw in like an extra little battling, and
Yeah.
that's what all that was a battling. Because when you core spin, the fiber goes a lot longer.
Mm-hmm.
And the cool thing about core spinning is you can really keep the fiber, like the colors together if you
Yeah.
want. So you can really make a gradient.
You can be really deliberate about your color placement.
That is true. And you can you can make it thick or thin, or you can play with texture a lot with it as well. Because it's how you're going so slow. You want your largest pulley and the most pull up that you can have. Um, so anyway, I spun that on the sidekick. The sidekick hates me right now because it's like, what are you doing, lady? Um, but it's overall lots of fun. I like the Christmas lights because then I can turn them on and it's like a party. A party as I spin. So that is the first thing that I was working on. The second thing is when I went to DFW this weekend, I bought a spindle. I got from KCL Woodworks one of his spindles.
Is
So,
this one of his interchangeables?
mm-hmm. So the cool thing about this is a KCL, and here is his card, and he is hilarious. He's wearing a t-shirt that says Gotwood.
Nice.
Hilarious. I would say he's in his 60s to 70s range. I hate
Mm-hmm.
putting age on people. This is their shop. They have the coolest lazy case. So the cool thing about this is it comes with 3 shafts and you unscrew them and you can interchange them. So instead of having to wind off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sells a lazy Kate that they sit in and you can just ply off of them sitting in the lazy Kate. But then you can also buy the post for the lazy Kate so you can use it for spinning wheel bobbins as well.
Oh, cool.
He sells supported spindle bowls that have 3 parts. There's like a big base, and
Mm-hmm.
then the bowl screws in, and then there's also an arm. So if you're one of those supported spindle spinners who like to have the arm and hold it between your legs and spin off of that, like the longer stalk.
The
Have you ever seen this?
pedestal?
Yeah, like a pedestal bowl.
Oh.
You can make it into a pedestal bowl.
So what's the
He's,
third piece?
he's
I thought you meant.
No, it's like a little bowl and a base. So base, little bowl, and the bowl screws into the base. So you can set that down
Like on a
and spin off,
table.
yeah, on a table and spin off of that. Then you can unscrew the bowl and put it on the little pedestal
Oh.
and hold it between your legs.
Hmm.
So this is, let me tell you all the specifics of this spindle before I lose the tag. So Ken Ledbetter is his name. So he's KCL Woodworks, and this is oak burl. He gets this. He was telling us all about the wood. He gets this from Georgia. and he stamps his spindles on the back on the bottom. But he also adds color occasionally, and he is telling us like the darker colors were bark, and the lighter colors were something else. I don't know, rot, something like he knows his stuff, and he's really really funny, and I enjoyed him immensely. And they do have notches. They have the swirl hook, which I really, it's not my favorite hook for a spindle, but because he has the notches, it works with this really, really well. So I got this, and then I was like, I need fiber to spin.
I
As you
have
do.
none.
None. No fiber in this house. But I didn't with me. So this is kind of sad. 2F by Hand is taking a dying hiatus.
She's
So they will,
majorly popular, isn't she?
there's two of them.
Mm.
They're taking a hiatus. And so she told me that, and I was like, well, I definitely have to come back and buy some of your fiber before you go on, because they're not certain that they're going to return from the hiatus. It's kind of a situation that you're going through where she travels for work a lot, and she's super busy, and they're both busy,
Yeah. It's just
and
hard to make it happen.
they just can't make it happen anymore. So they had this grab bag, which is all these little bits and bobs.
Oh, awesome.
I don't even know how many ounces it is. Probably 4 ounces. Yep. They had tons of these, and they have nice bright colors. So I am spinning. Last night I sat with a bunch of people and started spinning. So I have one of those little bits and bobs, and it's spinning quite fine. And I am enjoying it immensely. So this might be a travel spindle project. I have a cool bag from the lady who puts on the Carolina Fiber Frolic. And I've had something in it for forever, but this is her spindle bag. And I think I might switch what's in there out with that. So, very, very cool. So that is all my spinning, are those two items. But lots and lots of fun. And very different for me, not traditional wheel spinning.
Yeah.
But I got to see lots of different wheels at DFW, which was fun. So, and I got to see different. Magicraft came out with like some new heads for their wheels
Mm.
that changed them. So I got to see some of those as well. We do have a question. We do not have a book review this week. We're going to have an awesome book review next week. But I am waiting, and a contest that goes with it, but I'm waiting to sort something out with that. So, we have a question from Adam BR, who says, I would like to buy a set of interchangeable needles. When I want to start a new project, so often I don't have the right size needles for the project, and then lose enthusiasm on the project by the time I get to the yarn shop to get the needles. I would love signature needles, but I'm really not that serious a knitter to spend that kind of money. Any suggestions on a reasonably priced set of needles? So, reasonably priced interchangeable set of needles.
If I had to choose one set of interchangeables, and I completely understand not wanting to shell out necessarily for signatures, they are definitely an investment.
Yep.
But until you really know what sizes you use a lot, it may, you may not want to shell that
Yep.
out.
And they're not really interchangeables. They have
Yeah,
their
they're
cords that you can
convertibles.
switch. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a different animal. If I could only choose one set, it would probably be my high metals. I want to say they have two sizes. They have like size. These are U.S. sizes 2 through 8, and then 9 through 15, I think. So they got the small size and the large size, and I think each one is in the range of $50. And of course, they come with different size cords, and you can buy replacement cords relatively inexpensively. But when it comes, for me, I use my high interchangeables the most, more than any of my others. I also use CHOW, also use Addy Clicks.
Yeah, my Eddie Clicks would be mine, but they are definitely more in the $200 range.
Yeah.
So they're more of an investment. And you have the Diacraft interchangeables as well.
Yeah, but that's only size 0 through 3, and they're also pricey. So,
Yeah.
I like Hayas. You might like Chowgoos better.
I would try the Addies too. Knitter's Pride has some great interchangeables
Yes.
that I've enjoyed.
Knit Picks and Knitter's Pride both have some
Yeah.
Nice, inexpensive sets. My only complaint with those is that um, from both companies, they don't always stay completely screwed shut.
It depends on how you knit.
Yes, it's all in
Hmm.
the way that you grip your needles primarily, and the fault is mine for the way that I hold my needles. But
You can actually be unscrewing them
right
as you
as
hold
you
them.
go, yeah. And when you use clicks, you don't have to worry about that
That is
because
correct,
they
because
don't
they
screw
click into
on.
place.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, but I
So
don't
the
know.
high is not screwed into place? How do they?
The high screw into place, but I haven't had a problem with them coming loose. Chow goos,
Interesting.
I have had problems with them coming loose, but
But that's all on how you like. I don't typically have those problems. I did when I knit more with the Denise, which are plastic.
hmm.
They would come undone. But that's the only one that I've really had issues with.
And
Plus, I
this,
kind of watch it as I go, and you can tell when they're starting
yeah.
to come undone.
I also don't knit with wooden needles, period, unless maybe one out of every 100 projects that I knit are on wooden
Yeah.
needles, just because I don't like knitting with wooden needles. Because I grip my needles really firmly and strongly, and I actually tend to bend or break wooden ones, so got like an iron grip apparently. Uh,
I do like wooden needles, especially from slippery yarns,
hmm.
but I'm loosey goosey compared to Leslie. We're opposites
That's all
in
right.
so many ways. But
Um,
those are all great. If you could go to a lot of yarn shops, if there's a yarn shop in your area, sometimes you can encourage them to do needle tastings,
yeah.
and that would be a great way of seeing what you like.
Or
Uh,
like a local knit group. If you have your local knit
yeah.
group, just, if somebody's knitting with a pair you haven't used before, ask if you can knit a row on whatever they're
Hmm.
knitting. Um, yeah, I mean, I would crowdsource it as much as possible before
Yeah.
buying if you want to be really careful about the money that you spend, which is perfectly reasonable thing.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we talked about Hayas, Chagu, Knitter's Pride, Knitpicks. Knitpicks, I've had issues with them actually coming apart, so
Yeah, the
they're
needle
not
coming
my.
out of the like the cable coming
Yeah,
out of the shaft.
I haven't had that issue with Knitter's Pride, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen.
Yeah. Also, I had that same issue, but to be fair, I haven't used Knitpicks needles in at least 5 years, so they could
Yeah.
have improved it, and I just
Yep.
don't know.
So there's that as well. So what are you reading?
Um, a lot of stuff I won't list, but I did finish Harmony Black, which was a sort of paranormal FBI
Yeah, I
chick.
downloaded that and I got like one chapter in, but I haven't gone back to it yet.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it's a little happily ever after for my taste, but it's okay. And it was on the free Audible listens with if you have Kindle Unlimited.
Hey, you have a Kindle, right?
I do.
Have you noticed since the update, has it been burning through its battery a lot quicker? Because mine has been.
I haven't paid any attention to it.
I've been having to charge mine like every other day now.
Oh, yeah, no, mine hasn't. I haven't charged
Hmm.
mine in a couple weeks.
But it could be that I lost my charger, my regular charger in my luggage, and so I have a backup charger, so it could not be putting through enough, like a lot of power, so it's taking longer to charge, so I'm not getting full charges.
Oh,
But I
oh,
left it on overnight and then unplugged it to take to DFW, but left it on the bed, forgot it,
oh
which is
no.
fun. It happens. I have the Kindle app on my phone too.
Yeah.
Um, but by the time I got back, it was totally dead again. I was like, I haven't even
Oh,
been on you. Why are you dead?
that's weird.
Yeah, they did another update to it today, so I'm hoping that solves the issue.
Uh, no. So I listened to Harmony Black. I read the second in a series called Out of Nowhere, which is a romance, and it was good. And then now I'm re-listening to the second in the Red Rising series, which I've listened to before, but it was a long time ago, and I need to remember what happened so that I can understand the third one, which
Yeah.
just came out. So Golden Sun I'm re-listening to, and I just downloaded the Lightning Struck Heart to. Well, I downloaded a chapter. I love that Kindle lets you do a free sample
Oh
so
yeah.
much
Oh
because
yeah.
I have saved this week. I've probably saved $30 because I'll download a sample and I'll hate the way the writer does their
Mm-hmm.
punctuation or how they, in one paragraph in one book that I was reading, council member, the word council member, or the
Yes.
words, whatever. In one sentence, it was one word, and in another sentence, it was two words. And I was like, I don't even care what this book is about. I'm done. Not reading it anymore.
You're so funny. And that doesn't even like blip on my radar.
But if I notice it in the first chapter, then, clearly. Anyway, yeah, so I've been downloading a lot of free samples and nixing a lot of things early, which I really appreciate the ability to do that on the Kindle.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
So I had started Cinder years ago when it first came out, and I was like, I don't need another Cinderella based story. But then one of my library helper and I read this very same type of YA books. So she was like, Miss Linneman, you need to go back and read this.
There's like a half
So
a dozen now, right, in the series?
there's Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, um, like there's a backstory. It's like a point 0.5, and then there's Winter. So there's five altogether. And then there's short stories. Like my library copies have these short stories, but then she published like another anthology that has those short stories plus like five new ones.
Mm.
I don't know that I'll purchase that. They're expensive on the Kindle. Like they're like $8 each, which was interesting to me
Mm.
because typically after a book's been out, I mean,
Yeah.
the Sinner's been out for a while. So I'm just borrowing them from my library because I can do that.
Yeah.
And actually, I was book talking Cinder on Thursday before I left, and all the copies got checked out. But I really, really am enjoying them. They're
I
like 400 pages each, and I read the first three in 2 days
Wow.
because I didn't work at work, really. I just read books, which is kind of my
It is your
job.
job,
But
really.
also, I have like tons of other stuff, like shelving books I should be
Mm-hmm.
doing that I did not do so that I could read. So when I go to work tomorrow, I have like 200 books shelf, whatever. It'll be okay. I don't have Winter in my library. I somehow missed it coming out, so I have to order that one. But the public library has it, so I'm gonna get it from there and then order it from my library. None of my kids have gotten that far, which is weird. But
I've read Cinder, but I didn't read
Ferris is
any of
the
the
other one.
follow-ups.
Scarlet is my favorite so far because they're so what they are fairy tale based, but cyborg,
Mm-hmm.
science fiction, future, like aliens from the moon basically have there's a there's drama between like this alien kind of culture from the moon that they can kind of glamour themselves and convince humans to do what they want. And then there's the humans on Earth, and there's this competition, and Earth is under a plague. It's very dystopian sci-fi. Earth has a plague going on, and it also incorporates the Cinderella story, Little Red Riding Hood, and Snow White, and Rapunzel, but in a very clever and new and fresh way.
Yeah, like the
Um,
Cinderella, instead of it being a slipper that you try to fit, it's
it's
like
her foot.
it's her foot.
She
Yeah, it's
loses
like
her foot
a
because she's a
robotic foot.
cyborg
Yeah,
because she was caught in a fire as a child. And cyborgs are kind of second class citizens, so there's a little bit of like political
like a caste
understandings
system.
of, yeah, but also what a monarchy is, and it's a fascinating book series, and I'm probably reading it too fast to really do justice to the
When you really
series.
love a book, it's hard not to do that.
Yeah, Emo and I were talking about her daughter Anna is reading the Harry Potter
Mm-hmm.
books for the first time, and she's in love with Luna.
Oh yeah.
Not Luna. Hold on. Sirius Black and Tonks. Like their relationship, they're like her two favorite characters, and she's just getting to the part where stuff's gonna happen. I don't want
Oh
to. Um, so I remember crying at that part, and I
yeah.
remember crying when the twins have their thing.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, but she said she's handling it really much better than I did. I was like, oh, that's good. Because It was also, I read those in one day, like as they came out.
Yeah, I
And I
remember
remember reading at like 3 a.m. and being like, I have to finish
the
this.
last two. I was like that.
Yeah,
I was a
definitely.
late start on the books. I don't think I got into them until like the fourth one was out.
Okay. It was like the second one was out for me because I worked at Borders at that point
Mm.
and we had to do like the big release party, like stay
The
up
midnight,
till
yeah.
midnight. Yeah. And then on my way home at 2 a.m., I stopped for gas and locked my keys in my car with it running. So that was superb.
Awesome.
Um, but yeah, anyway, we're totally off topic, but I'm enjoying Cinder immensely. It's a YA series. It's the Lunar Chronicles. And I'm on Fairest right now. Favorite things. There is so much favoriteness about the DFW festival. I can't even contain it in like one ball of awesome. Like it was so cool. There were wonderful vendors, people that I hadn't met before in person that were the sweetest. Like tumbleweed yarns. I'll show y'all what I bought. I didn't buy any tumbleweed because I already had some in the stash because the Loopy U sells her stuff. But they were super sweet. And then there was like new friends and old friends. Like Ross Farms
Yeah.
was there. Kimber and Ellie from Fiber Optic. We made Ellie stand behind the like little podium. We're like, we can't see you, Ellie. Where are you? And she's really short. And so she went to do her like wingspan, and we still couldn't see her. So I have a picture of just like
Just her
Ellie's.
hands above it, yeah.
Yeah, it was so cute. So from Kimber, because I have lots of Kimber's fiber to spin up that I have not accomplished, and she does these awesome paint box kits, but I have like three of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't like. I need to use them. I'm trying to use up more older stash. So instead of getting um, yarn from her or fiber, which she has amazing things, she had the Loop of London books, the 10 years.
Hmm.
And so I got this, and it's got designs from Kirsten Kapoor, Stephen West, Pam Allen, um, all Ysolda, all sorts of people. And it's a really great book. And then it's got this postcard in here for a free download code, which I've lost 5 times. So like because when I
Oh, because it's
stand,
a postcard, not a
it's a postcard,
sticker.
and so when I stand, I always like
Mm-hmm.
I'll stand talking to someone and I'll be holding this by my side and I just flip books naturally because I'm
A librarian.
a geeky type person. But I would just flip through and it kept falling out and Kimber was like, you need to stop. Like stop doing that. Like in a very nice way, but she's like, you are going to lose that. But this book is currently out of print. Kimber has like she got the last box. They found like a random box in their warehouse and they were like, do you still want it? They just published it, but it's already out of print.
Well, I guess that's good. It
So
means they sold all of them.
this was in celebration of 10 years of their store. So super cute book. And it was around $27, but it's got gorgeous. Let me show you the Stephen West shawl because that might be one of my favorite things in here. The Kirsten Kapoor is too. Luckily, they're side by side. So that's the Stephen West shawl.
Brioche.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
It is brioche. And then here's the Kirsten Kapoor.
Oh, that's lovely.
So if you want a copy of this book, I would contact like a physical copy. I think you can buy a digital copy. You should contact Fiber Optic Yarn. She has a store as well. And then I went to Western Sky Knits, who is the sweetest person ever. It's her and her business partner. And one of them was there. Who was there? Beth, maybe? No, I can't remember. Is it Beth and Heather? I'm a terrible person. But they had this. And it is the prettiest thing ever. This
Well,
is
it's
their
like a
sock.
like a galaxy.
It's called Surprise.
Oh,
It's the best kind of prize is a surprise. The other yarn that I bought for me, this was actually my first stop, was I went by Mustache. And she had the eggs from that update. And Diane of Suburban Stitcher was knitting with it. Super cute. And she's so sweet. I'd never met her before. But of course I know Stacy. And Cindy, who went to SSK last year, was also in that booth. So it was lots of fun to see
hmm.
them and then meet Diane. of Suburban Stitcher. So this is Daily Eggs. So really, really pretty. That was the only thing I bought at Mustache. So I felt very proud of
I love
myself.
Stacy's stuff, but I've got a couple skeins that I need to knit before I buy any more.
Yep, I understand. And then I got to meet the lovely ladies of Two If by Hand. And I got the little bundle that I showed you earlier, and then some superwash Targi in the selfie colorway because the theme of DFW was selfies with Lala. So that happened. So that and the spindle was everything that I purchased on day one of um the event. So that, and I hung out at Ross Farms for a long time, and with Jerry of Jerry Brock. I was trying to buy from people that I knew wouldn't be at SSK. I hung out in a bunch of other booths as well. It was so much good stuff. It was hard. I did try the Signatures New Zeros.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I touched them. They had them in like a little container, and you could take them out and touch them, but they didn't have anything that you could knit with them.
Hmm.
And a set of five is going to be $90.
Oof.
A set of four is like 75. They're just like their regular double points, which I have one over here somewhere. So they've got that really sharp point and the noise that they make because they've got the little
The
grooves.
ridges, yeah.
The ridges. Signatures have ridges, but it's all one color. It's all silver. And I think I am going to pass.
It's a lot for a
Oh,
pair of double points, a set of double points.
well, they're only doing like a limited run. That's why it's not going to be something they have on their site. So if you're interested, you have to sign up through like an email, and then they're not even going to list them on the site. You have to do it separately. Um,
Wow.
yeah. That night, we went to Sylvia Harding's talk on mending through the ages, which was really interesting. And she talked a lot about visible mending, so I totally thought of Leslie. Because Leslie's visibly mended before, but it was really, really interesting. How like in I think it was Japanese culture, like having things that are mended is more has more of a
Yes, they can.
positive connotation than a
I'm trying
negative.
to remember because there's actually a theme that I want to get in a tattoo where if they have like a clay bowl and it's been
Uh-huh.
broken, when they
Yes.
repair it, they
Yes.
use like a gold paint, and so it becomes more beautiful because it's been
Because of,
broken
yes.
and
And she went
remade.
into that. It was really interesting, and I sat there and knit. And then they did door. So when you went in, I don't know if I have it with me. So in order to go to that event, you had to purchase a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
And so they gave you like a little pass on a lanyard, and on the back was a number. And so they used a random number generator and just pulled numbers off of there. Well, because I registered through a weird like PayPal account, they didn't have my name on the list, and then they finally found it, but they didn't have a card pulled for me. So they're like, "Oh, this one's just hanging out. You can take this one." And so they were pulling door prizes, and I was laughing with my friend Renee because they had like a Cricut loom, and I was like, "With my luck, I'll win the Cricut loom, and there's no way I can get that home. Like
Yeah.
that's not going to fit in a carry-on." So I was laughing, and so they went from like the smaller prizes kind of up to the bigger prizes. And they also did like a let's make a deal. Like if you have a wooden crochet hook and they gave you like a thing of M&Ms, they had like specially made DFW M&Ms, which
Hmm.
was kind of fun. So they had done that before. And then this was after, and they had done a couple door prizes before. This is a long story to get to say I want a door prize. So they did the loom, and then like the biggest door prize of the night came up, and it was a year subscription to the Erin Lane Bag Club, which is an Erin Lane bag and any dyer and a pattern that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it retails for like $400, I think. So it's like a huge prize, and I won it. So they gave you two kits there, and then they took down your name, and I'll get the rest as they come out.
Right.
Just pretty cool. So I gave Renee had lost her knitting. We found it later. It had been she dropped it in a parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
at DFW, but she was so upset that I was like, I want to give you something to make you feel
Aw.
better. So I gave her one of the kits. So I have the other kits. So the one that I kept um, is Buffalo Wool Company. So skein and a mini skein of their Trax sock yarn, which is superwash merino and bison. And the pattern that goes with it is this gorgeous shawl. Le Tissier Designs, and it's the 400 shawl. I don't know if that's showing real well, but it's this really pretty shawl. And then the bag that I kept is this one. And look, it's got like a knit fabric.
Yeah.
So all that goes together, and I'm gonna put that in that bag together, because otherwise I will lose it. They also did, if you registered for a class, you got like a goodie bag. So this huge bag that I'm pulling stuff out of. And they actually had a vendor there with an embroidery machine, and she was like, you could pay to have your name embroidered on this huge bag. But I didn't actually think this was going to fit in my luggage. So I was worried about doing that. The next day, Saturday, we woke up, we went to class with Sylvia, and it was wonderful. And then poor Susan B. Anderson, I kept like going in her room in between classes and hanging out with her. She's probably like, come on, lady. Uh, so one of the things in the goodie bag was a DFW coloring book. So
Wow. The
it's like
craze has gotten out of control.
yeah, so I thought that was really funny. And coupons and a skein of Barocco yarn, which I had lunch with some really cool fans of ours who actually had worked at the Madeline Tosh store at one point. And they were the sweetest people. And so one of them was talking about how she wanted to knit a hat for someone, and I had this random skein of Barocco that would probably just hang out in my stash for forever, so I gave it to her. So then, on Saturday, we went to the market, and I wanted to get something for Leslie. So I was wandering around.
Can you open it away from the mic? Sorry, it's
Yes.
like super crinkly.
That's funny because the mic's all the way over
Oh,
there.
really?
Like so my computer sits here, and I have like an IKEA desk, and it's the farthest it can be all the way over there
We need to change the settings on your microphone.
without me. Yeah. I wonder if it's not pulling from that microphone. Hold on, now I have to look. I'll play with Skype settings later. I'm not going to do it now. Anyway,
Pretty.
I got you ombre from Gritty Knits. She had some really gorgeous stuff, and this is the crimson colorway because you always get red when I buy stuff for you. No other options, just red. And it is 60% superwash merino, 20% EAC, and 20% silk.
Nice.
It's 400 yards. So I thought you would enjoy that. And while I was in that booth, I was like, ooh, I really like this. And I went back to it 4 times. And I was hanging out with the girls from Louisiana that I typically see at Vicksburg, but I'm not going to Vicksburg this year. So it was so nice to see them at DFW. And so I got one of their time bombs. And it's just a color number. I guess they dye them randomly.
Okay.
But it's a superwash merino nylon. And it's pink.
Wow, you got something with orange in it.
What is going on with me in orange? It's so
Amy
ridiculous.
Beth has gotten into your head.
Yes, I actually almost pulled out my super special to Amy Beth's things of yarn to knit something out of the shawl, but I did not. So that is, I also bought, there was a bead store and I bought some beads. And that's all I bought at DFW. It's a lot, but
It's not that much.
it's not, I didn't go like completely out of control.
I got more
Which
at
is good.
Vogue Knitting Live than you did at DFW.
I don't know about that. I got 2 things of fiber, a spindle, and 3 things of yarn for me. Yeah, I also bought something for Lynn because she really, really wanted it, and I had told her I'd pick it up, and then I forgot, and then Stacy didn't have any more, but Cindy gave up her skein so that Lynn could have it. Cindy's super sweet. So DFW was so nice. I got to hang out with Laura Nelkin and Susan B. Anderson and Ross Farms and Kimber and so many viewers. Like I felt like there was actually time that I could stop and talk to people, except for the one lady. I'm so sorry when I was running to class and I was late. And she stopped me. I was like, I love you. I gotta go. But we took a quick picture, but I felt really bad for that.
Laura has a
I
thing
forgot
about
what it was.
time and being
I
where
was
she's
running late.
supposed to be at a certain time.
That's truth right there. That's my father in me, definitely for sure.
That's why
Um,
whenever Laura and I are somewhere together and I know that she wants to be somewhere at a certain
mhm.
place and she wants to leave at, let's say, you know, 5 o'clock, then I'm like, I'm ready at 4:30 because I just know.
Because I'm ready to roll at 5 or 4:45.
Yeah.
It's really bad in the mornings, more so than any other time. I feel like
Mm.
it's bad pretty much all the time. Um, but DFW was so much fun. Oh, and I got to hang out with real briefly. She used to vend at Arkansas. Oh, no, I'm gonna not remember her
Oh,
name,
I
but
know who you're
she's the
talking about
sweetest with
because
the
I got
bats.
bats from her.
Yes. Oh no, I
Spinning
feel
straw into
terrible.
gold.
No, I did hang out with her though, and
Oh,
she
she's
was
the one I
really
was
cool.
thinking of.
And she had her big things of fiber, and I told her I'd spun the sweaters worth it. I didn't get anything from her because I was worried it wouldn't fit in the suitcase. Plus, she sells all her naturals online. If
Hmm.
you're looking for a great source of natural fiber and some really interesting stuff, she had mink, and I almost bought an ounce of mink, but it was like $18. But I just wanted to try it.
Yeah.
But I was like, it'll get squashed in my suitcase, so I'll order it from online. But she's actually taking some time off to do a 3 month that trail Appalachian Trail Trek,
Oh, wow.
which is really cool this summer. No, Dawn, dreaming,
Oh,
Dawning
Dawning
Dreams.
Dreams. Yeah.
Yes, Dawn, I got to hang out with, and she's super sweet as well. Also, I got to hang out with so many people. It was a very chill festival for me, which was nice. Also, I went on a Friday, Saturday.
Hmm.
So, like, Friday, I could hang out with lots of people because I wasn't doing anything but hanging out. And with Renee and Stape and Shanita. So it was lots and Cindy and lots of cool people. And thank you so much, everyone who came up and said hi to me. It was so nice and took selfies with me. So I didn't have anything to give you, and I felt kind of bad about that too. But it was lots and lots of fun. So now that I've been talking and saying lots and lots of fun a million times, we do have some prizes to give away for the Craft All the Things
Yes.
thread. So in that thread, oh my gosh, you all are amazing. And I love at the end how many people from Sock Madness just like because Sock Madness had them do some really cool techniques. So there was a lot of socks that appeared towards the
Oh,
end, which
really?
was super funny. Oh yes. But there's some great cross stitch. A1 Dawning did this cool beaded cross stitch, especially. Just really, really neat stuff in there. So if you're looking for some great inspiration of new techniques, there is so much in there.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of stuff that's not necessarily knitting or spinning. A lot of sewing. There's some quilting. There's
yeah.
some spinning. Um, a lot of people try different heels or different toes, which is cool.
Or like with the March Madness, there's that beaded Judy's Magic cast on. So I
Hmm.
really want to try that at some point. It looks like it's like using Judy's Magic cast on as a provisional cast on, but I'll have to once this because Sock Madness, then you can buy the patterns later. That
Yeah.
might be what I purchase for sure. So there are 390 people who posted, well, 390 posts of awesome, cool things. So the first thing we're going to draw for.
We also have a pattern. So
Okay.
when we were
Do you want to draw
drawing,
from the pattern first?
well, I just wanted to mention when we were drawing prizes for Patreon in February, Pakasha won, and it was the second time that she's won, and so she wanted to give something back, and so she asked us to um, draw someone from the Craft All the Things thread, and she would buy that person a pattern as a.
Okay, so let's do that one first while that's fresh in our minds.
Let me go to random.org. There we go. How
Okay.
many people is it? 300 and.
390.
All right. So 2 to 390. Okay. I have not pushed the button.
Push the button.
320. So that
Mmm.
should be the 13th page.
Yep. Let's do this.
And this is from Pikasha, so I will make sure Pikasha gets the name of whoever this person is.
It is Runner Judy. I got to meet her this
Oh,
weekend.
cool.
That's so much fun.
Runner Judy. So she's going to get a pattern from Pikasha.
Yep. The second thing we have to give away is a stitch stopper from Gelby. I'm writing stuff in my notes as we do this time. I'm trying to be like organized and cool. So these things are super cool. You put them on your needles, and it will hold your two needles together when you're not working on your works in progress. And it's got a cute little embroidered sheep on it. And she also has a lobster claw on it, so you can attach it to your knitting
Yeah.
when you're not using it. So super, super smart. That Gelby, she's a smartie. So this is a stitch stopper from Gelby.
Okay.
She's Gelby at Etsy.com.
And
Etsy.com.
that one is 169, which should be the 7th page, I think.
You're so good at math.
I can divide by 25.
169. That's more of a skill than what I have. Let's see. 169. Oh, it's yarning for a smile.
Okay.
And she did a baba hat. A bobble hat? Whatever that hat with the sheep on it is called.
Bobble.
There we go. And it's super cool. And she did a very neat variegated pom-pom, but this was the first time she'd ever done color work.
Oh.
So yarning for a smile, send me, Lala, your address, and I will get that out to you for sure.
And what's our next prize?
Our next prize is this gorgeous skein of yarn from another crafty girl.
Yeah.
So it is in one of her Flight of the Condors colorways called Business Time. It is her worsted weight. So really, really nice. I love her worsted weight. It is so much fun.
And this one goes to number 350, which I think is the last one on the 15th page.
Hop to page 15.
This is for the...
You said 350?
350, yes.
Oh, hold on. I gave you a compliment and you were wrong. It's on the last of the 14th page.
Oh, sorry. I thought that's what I said.
I don't know.
Oh.
Probably. I said 15. It goes to L Patrick 99. So contact me, Lala, and I'll send it your way. She tried the Elizabeth Zimmerman stretchy sewn bind off.
Oh, and we had just talked about that a couple weeks ago.
We did. So just send me a PM and I will get that to you. The next prize are hobbledehoy batlings. If you do not spin, I will spin these up for you and send you the hand spun. So these are in the
mystical
in
something.
her magical realism colorway.
It was something magical or mystical. All right, the number, gosh, it's loving the high numbers today. 380. So that's going to be on the last page.
380. And that is, oh, a cool beaded cuff. Like, is it a beaded cuff? Yeah, it's a wrist cuff with pre-strung beads. Cthulhu
loves me.
Yes, great name. So you're going to get the batlings. I'm looking to see if she spins. Does she spin? Yep, she does spin. Awesome.
So you don't have to spin it. Yay for you.
So those are hobbledehoy bats. And then the last prize we have is Red Umbrella Yarns. She's from Arkansas, and she does these gorgeous semi-solids especially, but she also does variegates. This is in the Sangria Superwash Merino worsted weight. So that is Red Umbrella.
And that one is going to go to number 224, which should be on the 9th page, I think. Now you got me doubting myself, though.
I'm such a doubter. 224, is that what you said?
224, yes.
Yeah, it's on the 9th page. Go you! Way to be on top of things. That is going to the Frosted Cow.
Sweet.
She just bought a sock machine. Circular sock machine. So this was her first time doing a pair of socks on it.
Wow, you've done a lot better than me because I have just given up.
So thank you everyone who participated in that. We do have some new Craft All the Things that will be starting soon. We're going to do a sale again this year. We typically do a spin along, knit along. in the summer or the
Mm-hmm.
spring. And so that more information about that will be forthcoming. But I'm super excited about that because it's a breed that you don't hear much about. So super, super cool. And then we have Stash Dash
Yep.
will start. And I
In
will have all, it's
like
going to
six
start the end
weeks.
of May. So you could not be binding off anything until it starts. Hoard those works in progress,
Yeah.
or you can just do whatever. For those of you who might not have participated in the Stash Dash before, Stash Dash is crazy.
Yeah.
It is lots of fun though. It goes from the time that I am off work, so I get off around Memorial Day. And I go back in early August, but we run it typically through around August 15th.
Yeah. Around the middle usually.
And it is an opportunity to finish objects and use up some stash that you have. Once something enters your house, it does become stash. So, like the stuff that I bought this weekend, that totally became stash because it entered my house. Um, y'all, there is going to be a couple rule changes this year, mainly because the lovely, lovely pattern whisperer came up to me at DFW and really made a case for holding yarn doubled.
Oh my goodness.
So if you hold yarn doubled, you can count both this year. I'm giving in to her and Jessica. So I'll allow that to happen mainly because we are going to add two new levels. So last year we did a 3K, a 5K, and a 10K. In order to make it as complicated as possible for me, I'm going to add a 7K and a 15K.
Wow.
So, and my goal is the 15K because I always have the highest goal. I barely squeaked through on the 10K last year though. So maybe I'll get out my loom and use that quite a bit more. You can weave, you can crochet, you can tat, you can
Spin.
spin, you can knit, of course. The only real rule is you have to be the person doing this.
Yes.
You can't
Finishing work doesn't count, so you can't sew on a button and then count
That's
the
true.
entire
You have
project,
to do some kind of
even if it's just a bind off.
knitting,
Right.
spinning, some work of the kind that it is
And
on.
there's a lot of
Mine counts,
rules
but
and caviets, and we'll talk about that when it
and
goes
if you
live.
ever have a question about Stash Dash, just let me know. You can shoot me an email at Laura at TheKnitGirlls.com.
Mm-hmm.
So, or you can shoot me a PM. I'm slower on PMs though. They do get forwarded to my email, but some things you can't reply to on email. Does that make sense? Like friends requests, I haven't figured out a way to reply to on email yet, so I have to be
Yeah, I
on
don't
top
know.
of
I
what
have
you do.
295 PMs.
Don't
So,
send Leslie PMs.
yeah,
You can
if you
send
want
them
to
to
get in
me.
contact with me, email me at Leslie at TheKnitGirls, or if you don't call me Les at Gmail. I try to keep my email relatively under control. Usually it's 20 or less. I try to keep it at 0 as
That's
much as
amazing.
possible.
If I can keep mine under 100, I'm so happy.
Well,
So,
unread, not
yeah. Oh, okay.
total.
Okay.
I archive everything. I keep everything, but
I
I'm
have
just talking
folders
about
that I put
unread.
stuff in, but my inbox typically hovers around 100. I think, what else do we have to talk about? We will both be at Maryland Sheep and Wool,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be super fun. We have a giveaway for this week, so I totally forgot, and this is all my fault. Cece, when we reviewed her book last week, gave us the option of also giving away a copy to one of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I will start that thread. All you have to post in there is your favorite beverage.
Oh,
So because it goes along with coffee, and she let me pick the prompt. Just put your favorite beverage,
does it
and
have
we're
to be
good.
coffee? Can it be
No,
alcoholic?
it can be whatever you want.
Mm.
I'm not judging you and your beverage choices. So there will be a thread in the group. It'll probably I might try to get it up tonight because we're recording pretty early for me in my time zone, not Leslie's time zone, because we've been talking a lot. And we have Patreon, but we've been talking a lot and we're at an hour and 15. Do you still want to do Patreon today or do you want to do it next
Um,
time we record?
I've already got the list up, so what we'll
Okay,
do is,
let's do it today. Let's
well,
just do it.
okay. Do you have yarn and hand spun?
I did not grab yarn, but I can grab yarn if
Yeah,
you
so
like.
how about this?
Okay.
We'll use the list that I
Okay.
have, but we'll draw next week.
Okay.
So if you're already in there and you want to cut yourself off and not donate anymore, totally fine. We'll
Yeah.
use the list that I already have right now,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll pull next week because
That's fabulous.
we didn't prepare and actually pull yarn and hand spun. So,
Sounds perfect.
um, but a genuine thank you to all of our Patreon
Oh
people,
yeah.
and a note if you are a Patreon person. The process that I set up to cross post from YouTube to Patreon totally didn't work for the whole month of March, and I never realized it. So if I don't post to Patreon separately, then we don't earn anything from Patreon. So if you signed up in March, you haven't gotten charged for anything because I'm an idiot and didn't check. So I did send a note to everybody who donates, but basically I went and back posted everything from March. So at the end of April, if you're a Patreon, donator, then it'll look like you've got double charge
You'll have
because
eight
it's 2
episodes.
months
Yeah.
worth that'll go on that one. You haven't gotten double charged. It'll look like it. Feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns about it. I'll be happy to talk to you individually. Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, cool. We will see y'all next week.
Yep.
Yay, happy 6 years, bestie.
Seriously, 6 years. All right. Well, here's to another year and make it a good 7.
Yeah,
Lucky
there we
7.
go. At least.
Yeah.
We will see y'all in the future.
Yep.
Have a good week. Bye,
Bye,
y'all.
y'all.